So it is 5:32 and we are 2 minutes late, so I will call this meeting to order. Nick, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Mary, you want to lead the pledge and Nathan, will you pray for us?
Sure.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, please let us govern this hospital with wisdom, care, justice, and fairness for everyone involved. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So the first thing that we will get started with are visitor comments. Do we have any comments?
Hi, Carol Jones. You've all heard from me. Right now, I see that you're hiring an interim for both of these positions that Piper has filled. Why isn't she back? There's no transparency. We don't even know what she has done. And yet we're just forging ahead, moving along like we're going to forget about it. We're not going to forget about it. She needs to be back to work, working for us. She is local talent we raised up here. So I want to see her back at work. This is where she needs to be. So I don't know what the reason is. This could stop like right now and she can be back. So why isn't it done?
Well, thank you for your comments. Does anybody else have any more?
I guess. Betty Petonic, and after the last meeting, I was furious. So I have several questions. And since you had the investigation report last meeting, why wasn't it acted on? Why didn't you let the other board members take it home and study it so that they could make an informed decision?
It's not our place to answer in these situations, and
What? The investigation should be transparent. It came back. Why haven't we heard about it? Why hasn't the board read it? What? Why is it such a secret? Because it didn't say what you wanted it to?
So I was chairing the last meeting because Anne wasn't here.
Right.
And I, as a board member, can only speak for myself. However, we all received the report to read last meeting. And we read it and heard from the investigator, and then
That's
we
not true.
Yes.
yeah,
No, it's not.
I didn't have the
So,
report before.
We received
They
it in
before
the meeting.
I know that.
At the last meeting. And in my opinion, it wasn't appropriate for us to take it home and read it. It's an employee matter and it should be handled.
You are
in
the
But it's
board.
extremely
And so-
biased, don't you think? You had this person that was hired by H and H and
No.
it's
So, guys,
Yeah.
so we are gonna, one person is going to talk, they're only gonna talk once.
Okay,
So finish up, Betty.
okay.
and we'll move on
I
to the
have
next
many
person.
questions. I want to re-enter, let's see. Okay, so Anna Carey, after investigating your bylaws for the board, in Article 2, Section 5C states that an administrator or CEO shall not hire or terminate any member from the administration board without prior authorization by the board. So why didn't the old board stop Dottie and Randy from putting Piper on administrative leave? Then should have, and this, because the board did not know, it should have been null and void on May 2nd because the board had not authorized it. So why didn't the board take up any objection when she was put on leave and you didn't know about it? That's up you three.
These are all things that happen in executive and we are not allowed to talk about it.
Wow. Oh, so much for transparency. While we're on the bylaws, the president, this is section 3, this is under officers. The president shall be the board's primary liaison with the legal counsel on the board issues. What does the primary mean in this case? Does it mean the only board member that can talk to the lawyer? Or just the one that will usually do it as the
So
Board
Betty,
is-
I really don't want to fight with you. And
I do.
I can tell.
Yes.
But these are all things, this is a visitor comment time. You need to make your comments. We need to listen to what you have to say. We need to talk about it as a board when it's appropriate, but it's not
Okay.
okay for us just to
So,
get in a fight here.
I feel that the whole board should be able to talk to if they have certain questions. And if it's only up to one person. So therefore, I would suggest in your executive meeting that maybe you talk about this particular issue. Because I'm not getting the feeling that the whole board gets everything. Okay, so this also means, well, you can't answer that one either. Well, then another concern that I have is, so you as the board chair obviously got the investigation report.
I did not. I got it after this board,
That
after
is,
the board
that
had
is
it.
true. That is true.
Okay.
It came to me just before the meeting.
Okay, came to you just before. So then there wasn't any proceedings. And so
Proceedings of, sorry, I got it from the attorney and handed it out at the meeting.
okay,
Mhm.
and then you chose not to show it to the rest, let the rest of the board make any. And then one more, like Carol was saying, why are you not concentrating on a new HR person instead of having a new nursing home administrator? So,
I can answer that question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So, I have it on the agenda. Don't mind if I move into that? We didn't hire an interim COO. We are hiring a chief financial officer. And the reason for that is that we have a lot of accounting and
well, the
billing.
CFO, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm talking, because it said in there.
The nursing home. Yeah, the nursing home administrator is because we just had a survey. And that survey told us that per state regulations, and I think even federal, but I haven't read, I did get the tag. We have to have a nursing home administrator whose only job is to be the nursing home administrator. So therefore, in order to correct our situation, we had to get an interim nursing home administrator. The reason I got an interim is because we still have Piper out. And I had to have immediate response to the tag that we got relative to a nursing home administrator. So, well, Betty, that's the truth.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, it's the
I'm
truth.
just saying,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make any,
If Piper were here, I would have had to have separated that job from her. It's that serious. I have to have somebody who's in the nursing home, working the nursing home as the administrator. They're not allowing it to be a dual role.
So Betty, what it sounds like is whoever the new rule is, whoever's the administrator, that's all that they can do. That's their only job and they can't have any other
and
jobs.
when did this ruling come into effect?
As soon as I got a tag for it, which means that we had a deficiency for it.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
And when did this ruling come into effect?
As soon as I got a tag for it, which means that we had a deficiency for it
Last week.
last week, and they
When
gave,
the
they
state
gave us.
survey was.
I have the state survey. You're welcome to look at it. It gave us a deficiency for a nursing home administrator. Be happy to show it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like.
I would like to speak on Piper's behalf. I got, yes,
Can you state your name,
oh,
please?
Holly Rogers. I started at the manor in 2019. And when I started, Piper was completely open arms, hands-on, helping, even at the manor when she was working over on the hospital side. Then I came back in 2019 and same, she was always over there when COVID was going on. She was completely hands on deck, doing her job and helping with testing and everything else. And then after that, I came over to the hospital side and there were multiple nights where Piper would come in at 2 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, and have to be back for work the next day because we had a trauma or we had this. Piper's the one, I don't know how many times I saw Piper running back and forth from her office to the clinic when we merged from Rapid City Regional to Weston County Health Services at the clinic. She started that. Yes, there was lots more going on, but she put her blood, sweat, and tears into this hospital, and I don't feel like it's fair that we treat her the way we are and just leaving her in limbo. I mean, who deserves that? And then if she has to go to another hospital to work, why is that fair for her family? She's done nothing wrong. So that's just my concerns and comments, and I appreciate if you guys took it to heart.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's okay. I didn't know if everybody, and I'm just interested. We've obviously held this dual role for many years. Is there a time date on that, the regulation that you have to have a separate? I mean, is that a? new
No, I don't have a
regulation?
time date. I just have the
It would
regulation
just be
cited.
interesting. Oh, has that always been the case and we always got
Well,
by?
Is the regulation written down there? Cause
So
he could look it up.
I'm a licensed nursing home, well, it was a licensed nursing home administrator in another state, and in the state that I worked in, it was always like that. I was surprised when I came here and saw that a nursing home administrator could do more than one thing.
I think
was
that they
the way
focus on
I've
different things,
always-
different years, and this year they focused on that.
I understand that. I'm just.
Yeah. Well, it's
Who's
right
the
here.
Date of that
I mean,
regulation,
it
because
certainly
we-
could be something that's been in place for a long time, we've just.
Dr. Reinberg, we could have been out of compliance for all this time.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
That's what I would just be
Yeah,
interested
but
to know if. this,
I'm more interested in getting this done timely than looking up that legislation right
I
now.
am not,
Yeah.
I'm totally understanding and
Thank
supporting
you.
what you're saying. My question is just out of interest from, all these years and all these surveys that, we've certainly never been questioned on that. We've never had, in my lifetime, a separate administrator, hospital and, nursing home.
Well, I don't know that I like it. I don't like it necessarily, but it's the rules. So
Yeah, no,
Anything else?
You bet. I'd like to know where we got the new person from.
What new person?
This, you're looking for this interim administrator.
The administrator comes from Wheatland. I've actually talked to Eric Boley, who's with the Wyoming Hospital Association and the Nursing Home Association, as a reference check on him. He is the top 1, 2, or 3.
My
Nursing
biggest
homes.
question didn't come through H&H.
No,
You know, we're still using the,
I got him through friends.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's good. He's from Wyoming. We'll go with that as long as he's not making $32,000 a month. Now you.
He's not.
Okay, that's good, because are we still using the same human resource officer that we snatched from H&H that we are paying $32,000 a month for?
I don't know how much we pay her.
That's what we're
Door shut.
paying H&H $32,000.
She does not have an open door policy from what I have heard.
Okay.
So we've used 15 minutes and I would like to move on.
I would like an answer to that question. It's taxpayers' money that we're throwing out the window as fast as we can.
I'm actually working on resolutions for the CHRO position, but I really can't speak to that without talking to the board.
Okay, we'll just let you know that most people know this now, that we're paying this H&H people. I'm gonna put this into a different perspective for you.
Sure.
They're making $18,000 a year less than Joe Biden. That's
Their
ridiculous.
company is, for sure.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Are we aware that H&H and Randy himself has done this before? They've left the hospital in shambles after they went in, paid all these big monies to all their people, and then they left it, and it was horrible.
No, I never knew that company till I got here, so that's what I can say for
And
them.
then my other big problem I have is we seem to have a few of the people that are more older. They've been on the board a little bit longer, and they tend to, from what I've been hearing, think pretty much that the new people don't need to be a part of this. Like, they're the board, and they make all the decisions. And each and every one of you was elected to work as a board, not as the board. And so my thing is, now I've already looked into this a little bit. If we can't get this to where we work as a board, then the members that want to work as a board, as the board, can be removed.
Well, I just want to speak for myself.
Okay?
I have never been told in this board that my opinion didn't count. I've never been told that. And I voiced my opinion at every meeting. So I am really trying diligently to work as a group.
Okay.
We don't need a fractured board.
But we don't, but it seems like we have one.
I don't think we do. We have to get through this patch and we're gonna be okay, in my opinion.
I think what we need to do is have these bylaws rewritten so that it's not so one-sided. I really do.
So I am one of the, I guess you would say, older members of the board that you speak of.
More tenure.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, I'm not feeling any of the things that you.
Some of the new members are.
Well, we're doing our very best to.
So do you think the
work
bylaws
as
don't
one.
need to be rewritten?
Oh, no, they need to be revised and we need to make changes
So
with
why are we
them,
not doing it?
but. So I feel as a board member that this board is getting to know each other, and I feel like as a board member, we're working together much better than the last board. I feel much more a part of this board. And if there's board members that are feeling not part of the process, then we as a board can certainly talk about that, but that's not the way that I'm feeling. Like I said, I feel like this board is a lot more cohesive than the
So let
last.
me ask you another
But
question then.
if I may finish my thoughts, we do have a lot of work to do, and rewriting the bylaws is part of the work that we're going to do, but we can't do it all at once, and we shouldn't do it all at once. In terms of rewriting the bylaws, I feel like that process should be done slowly and methodically with input from every board member. And I just feel like that's not a process that we could do fast, or we would do well if we did fast.
You do.
So as part of all the work that we do have a lot of work to do. And it may appear, because we're moving slowly, that we're not doing anything. We are. And I really feel like this board is moving forward and doing good work. We just need to be given the time to do it. It takes time to do it right.
I think that's probably, that one should actually be a priority. And probably, and this is just me again, in the things that I've learned over the last few weeks, Allison, the attorney, should probably not be the one to write them.
So Allison, the attorney, didn't write them the last time.
According to what I was told she did.
So the
board
board really did it.
The board
and-
did it, gave it to Allison, and she looked it over.
Right.
It will. You also know Allison was also basically terminated from the school board because she's not real great.
So I don't know any of that. And again, as Mary said, I'm just speaking as myself, one board member. I'm not speaking for the board. So I don't know any of that. And again, as Mary said, I'm just speaking as myself, one board member. I'm not speaking for the board. But as one of the old board members that you call me,
Two more, you're not old. It's been your life.
So just to clarify, I am the attorney for the school board and I've given it to my associate attorney, but our firm still represents the school board.
Your firm does, but Allison does not.
well, as a board member, as a member of this board, I can tell you that in my own opinion, and going on 2.5 years of working with Allison, Allison is a very good attorney, and the advice that she's given us over this time, I value. And I think, in my opinion, she's done a great job for us, and I value her. And I regularly, almost every meeting, turn to her and say, Allison, what's your advice on this? And I find her counsel to be invaluable, and I really feel like she has the best interest of the Weston County Health Services at heart in the advice that she gives us, and I value her.
Then why won't she speak with Piper's attorney?
I don't know if she has or hasn't,
So,
but
she did today.
I mean,
Allison.
Allison will do what she feels is appropriate for us.
Allison,
Yeah,
did you want to respond to that? Why, about talking to Piper's attorney?
yeah, I am actually on vacation out of town and I made the time to attend this meeting and I also made the time to attend and have a phone call with Piper's attorney, who is the new attorney today, which I don't know how that is relevant to this public meeting, but I'm happy to share that I am doing more than my job while on vacation with my family. Trying to help.
There's a lot of people, some on the board, that don't think you're doing such a great job.
Can I ask what you're doing, sir?
Then I suppose that they
Mike
should have that
Jones.
conversation with me. Cause
And I
I'm
would
not,
hope that our board would speak to us about that. So I mean, because this is the first I'm hearing that or feeling that, to be
Sure.
honest with you. Can I speak?
Sure.
Just to be honest, this is the first I'm hearing of that. And I don't know where that's coming from and how you guys know that before we even know that as a board. To me, that shows could be a fractured board there, if this is the first that we're hearing it or feeling that, to be honest with you. So what you're saying to me is something that is coming out of left field. I had no idea that we had a fractured board. But the fact that you guys know more than what we know is kind of concerning to me as a board member.
Maybe you should listen to them a little more.
There's nothing to necessarily listen to. I mean, what your information is more than what we have.
So we really and truly need to move on. And so we do thank you guys.
You guys are the board that we elect.
We know, And so,
So basically, Ann, you're gonna tell us, nope, you're gonna shut up and you're gonna leave.
no, I'm not telling
That's
you.
exactly what you just said.
Well, we have more meetings to go to. We aren't going into executive yet, so, yeah, we need to talk about the chief financial officer, and so, I mean, you're welcome to stay. But we need to move on, and we've all been elected, and we're all trying to do our very best. And I know that this issue is charged, and that, people are upset, both on the board and off the board, but we still have to, as a board, we have to do what we think is best, and we're going to.
Well,
And so,
my big thing is here is you guys need to work as a board.
absolutely, you are absolutely right.
No one person should be able to make the absolute decision.
No one person has been making absolute decisions.
Pretty close. And
I don't know where that's coming from. As a board member, I don't know where
that's right. And like what you just got through saying a minute ago, that you passed out that thing and you all read that in the meeting. Did you do that? Did you really read that to everybody?
So what we should have done, but it's already gone, so I cannot go back and fix the time. I should have arranged for everybody to come an hour early and read that, but I did not. And Carrie in the middle, when she was as chairing that meeting, she should have let everybody just stop. We aren't gonna have the meeting. We're gonna read it, but she didn't. But this is the first, I mean, that was wrong on our part, but there's nothing to be done about it now. Now, everybody has had the opportunity to read it. And if they haven't, but anybody that wanted to could have came in and read that. And so.
Has everybody read
the
it?
board.
Yes,
I came in 2 days ago and read it.
I came in yesterday and read it.
Yep, I came in Tuesday and read it.
So,
When-
I mean,
how
what
long
we
ago
did
it
was
that you gave
wrong.
it to them and said everybody read it at the meeting?
So.
They
as
just
a-
told me they didn't read it at the meeting.
I wasn't here at
So-
the meeting.
At the last meeting, we were given it in executive session. That was the first time that I saw it. I read it that night. Ann wasn't here that night.
I didn't
Nick
get it.
wasn't here that night. And they came in Mary, were you?
I was here and
Yeah,
I briefly
so-
read it the night of the meeting.
But that was the first time we saw
Yes.
So
it.
you didn't
And-
go over it during the meeting?
We did go.
We did.
well,
So you briefly,
Some things during executive session, but we all have had the chance in between then to read the full entire.
And I
report.
came in,
Yes.
yes.
Correct.
so basically, what I'm saying is, when you just told me just at the start of this meeting that you brought it out there and you read it and you all went over it, that's not true.
No, it is true.
Not according to what they're saying.
No,
They
we
just
are
told me
all saying
briefly.
the same thing. We saw it that night. We received the report
Read it again.
and we
I
heard.
read it on
She
Wednesday.
read it
I
again.
I
She
reread
had
it.
to read it again.
Did you guys sit down and discuss it?
Yes,
Yes.
except
It
for
was
Nick and I, 'cause
discussed.
we weren't here.
Because if you gotta come back and reread it on Wednesday, that's not telling me you sat down and went through it and discussed it.
So,
As they said,
correct.
we could have had it, we should have or could have had an hour before. or
But that's not
during.
the question I asked you.
Okay, so what is the question you asked?
Question I asked you specifically was, did you sit down in that meeting like you told me and read through that thing and discuss it and everybody knew everything that was in it?
We saw it
You
that
Saying
night.
it and doing that is a different situation. What you told me at the start of this
Yeah,
meeting is
we're-
not what you're saying now. I'm sorry. You're elected by us to do things for us, not to tell us a story, not to hide things from us.
I do honestly think that this is sort of a matter of semantics or misunderstanding. We did review it and discuss some of it that night. None of us had read it in full. And so we've done that in the
That's what she
time.
told me,
So, okay, that's the accurate depiction of what happened.
and that is not what she said.
Well, I don't think she was trying to mislead you myself, but it's up to your interpretation.
So none of us are trying to be misleading. We are trying to do our best, and that's.
Well, I'll just put it to you this way. I hope so. I do. And I hope that some of the problems that we've had in the past change. I really do.
I do too.
Because it's like I said before, I've already started the investigative process of how to remove you. I don't want to do that. It might even cost me money to do it.
All you have
But
to
it
do
can
to
be
remove
done.
me is for me to say, please, I'm done.
Anyway. Like I said, we elected a board. We expect you to work as a board. And we expect you to work on behalf of us as a community.
I think those are both reasonable expectations.
And I can
I
tell you
do
now,
think that we are a pretty new board. I think
Well, I
we are
agree.
making the attempt to work as a board together. There is a little time factor with everybody. You know, getting to know each other, getting to discuss things, getting comfortable with all that. But I think that we're making reasonably good progress at working together as a board.
I hope so. I really do, because I got lots of other things that I need to do in my life to do this, but I'm watching. And honestly, the county should have been watching a long time ago.
That's true.
Please
Exactly true.
remember that while you guys are trying to figure out each other as a board, which, yes, I'm on a board also, I know that has to be done. There's a lady sitting at home questioning her future.
We are aware of that. We know that there has to be a balance so that we get all the information we
Over
need,
100 days.
but we weren't even part of that board. So there's a time factor with us getting all the information we need, all the accurate information, being able to, deal with all of that. And I do think you do want to give us the time to have accurate, good information before we make decisions.
100%.
Okay.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
All right, I've said everything I need to say. Hopefully, I didn't really irritate too many people, but the people are watching now. And we needed to be, because we have thrown so much money away that it's unreal. And, the bad part is, this tax money that's been thrown away, that's your tax money too.
Who is?
And so when we're paying somebody, a firm, $34,000 a month to have an HR person, that's just unfathomable. The mines had HR people that was, their HR over 1,800 employees, and they near that. You shake your head, Ann, but it's true.
No, I'm saying I don't think we're paying that much to her. That's what I'm thinking.
You're paying H&H $34,000 a month.
I don't think it's all for the HR person. Yeah, they were.
Well, yeah, because they're paying that person out of their pocket. You're not paying that person, they are.
Regardless, $34,000.
It's an extreme, it's horrible.
Oh, I'm very aware of that.
Uh-huh. Does that take the money away from the residents at the manor for their personal cares? The $34,000? Does it take the money away from their activity department? Because those people over there, they count on us as a community. Because if there's no community, there's no nursing home.
Well, I think that for what it's worth, I think that there's really good care that's given here. And I think that patients do come
Excellent
here
care.
because they like the care that they receive. So I do think that the money that the county puts into this hospital is worth it, because there's a lot of people.
100%.
Well, that's not what the request-
$34,000
Does that money take
could
away
be
from
spent to the residents in a different way than to some person who keeps.
that
their
money
doors
that
shut.
you're paying for that H&H, to H&H?
Like a new
A lot of
bus.
that money
or-
that should be going somewhere else into this hospital.
I'm hearing you. I'm just new. I'm trying to get through this.
See, a lot later than
I'll
allowed.
be honest with you, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am. I've voted for years and I've kept up on politics, but I haven't really done a whole lot of local politics and actually following along and seeing what's going on. I guess all these years I've lived here, I've just trusted that this board was doing what this board should do. And now what I've heard over the last 3 or 4 months is just infuriating. Because I've paid a lot of taxes. And that's just wrong.
There was a huge mistake made in hiring someone that.
Well, in my opinion, you should have investigated H&H a little bit more. Because they're
We don't
not
know
a
if
great
they
company.
investigated it all.
And there's some people in this community that think that they're still being used, still being talked to and used for advice.
I'm not doing that. I can tell you that. I'm not.
If they are, that needs to stop. Because they're not good for this community. They weren't good for the one in Texas either. And this hospital needs to stay here. I mean, it does. It needs to be.
We're all aware of that, sir. We're all aware of that.
You're on the good side of the fight, and I hope we all are.
I do think it's the priority for every one of us that this hospital can stay here and stay functional. There's not a question in my mind that everyone at this table, that's very, very important.
And we appreciate all of that. We do. I absolutely do. The only reason why I'm here is that I'm very impassioned over the facility that I love. Went through all the changes.
Some of you
here.
know my wife's been here. She was here a long time.
Went through all the changes here, went through all the remodel, went through all of this stuff, and then Piper, who has worked here for
As a CNA.
20 plus
Oh, no,
years,
no.
and she's been here for forever. And all of a sudden now, that's why I have a problem. Now there's a problem? It's like, oh my gosh. Now, I really hold the attorney, she should have said, well, wait a minute, this shouldn't be happening. The attorney should have said something. This is a very biased report. It's not independent. It's ridiculous. And I can't see why we're even considering anything like that from a company that was so divisive and so destructive to our hospital. So those are the things that I question. Why isn't she back to work? She is an asset. She's local talent. She's homegrown. She's been here forever. So, and she'll stay here forever if we treat her right and bring her back. She's committed to this community. She's committed to our people. This is what I'd like to see happen. And I hope that you make some good decisions because this is ridiculous. Bring in somebody independent, do what you need to do, but get this resolved and get her back to work. So the community has confidence in you guys. Because if we let this go, people are gonna go too.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I've had
thank you very
several
much.
people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because this has been since May 2nd and that's too long. So something should have been done long before this. You let the investigation go. And that was the old board, new board. Thank you for getting into this mess and hope you get us through it. Thank you. Oh, I want to listen to that. CEO's report.
Oh, yeah. So, are you ready for that?
So,
The CFO that we have, the interim CFO that's coming in, his name is John Gantner. He was vetted by myself and Tony from Strategic Impact, who's here today, just so you know. And we both have heard of him, so he had contacted him to see if he was interested in interim. He's actually retired, but he doesn't retire. He keeps working. He has worked for places such as Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital for several years. Actually, he's worked for them from 93 to 207 and then in 217 to 220. He's worked for Baycare Health System. Yes, he's worked for big hospitals, but he's also worked for small. He's been in a small critical access hospital. We interviewed 6 people. We brought the 2 finalists to the search committee, the search committee and ourselves felt like there was no question that the best candidate by far was this John Gantner. He's as old as I am, so I guess that's okay. And he is willing to be here about mid-August and will be able to be here as much as possible in person because that's the way he prefers to do things. He is working and was willing to work free for us for the first few weeks just to help us with our cash position without even charging us for it. So I think that's pretty generous of him as well. So his name's John Gantner, and he's met up with Alicia, our accounts payable person. She really liked him and thought that he was already a good fit for her to be able to work with. Shane Philippi, I don't know if I say his last name very well, but he is the interim nursing home candidate that we are bringing forward. He went to school at Wichita State, but he's actually worked in Wyoming most of his time. He had a few stints. He's got licenses for nursing home administrator in 4 states, all these surrounding states. The reason was there was a time when he took care of a regional area of 7 nursing homes that he was over charge of to help those CEOs to perform their jobs, their administrators. So he's actually on a couple of aging boards for the state of Wyoming, and he's on the board for the Wyoming Nursing Home Association as well. So he comes highly recommended. And so what I'm going to be asking for in executive session is an agreement on contract terms. Thank you.
So, do we have anything else that we need to take care of before we move into executive session?
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
I believe, and we need to talk about mail levy requests from the county. We received 3 mails by law.
Mhm.
We have been asking for the last several years for 3 additional mails, and it's voted on by the public.
Mhm.
To get that on the ballot, we are supposed to request to be put on the ballot to the county commissioners. And
Allison, is there a date by which?
I don't know
Yes.
that we can.
we're running out of
I don't know
time.
that we can do that at a special meeting.
Yeah, sorry, the special meetings, you're only allowed to address the business that's on the agenda.
Okay, well, their next meeting is or August 7th,
So
it's first Tuesday. Then you got 90 days. It's supposed to be 90 days before the election. So it has to be to the commissioners at this next meeting.
So is that to increase or just to continue?
No, to
on?
ask to place the 3 mails that are voted on by the public onto the ballot, so the public has a chance to vote on it.
So would that be the same that we're already getting?
It is currently, we get 6 in the last, we get 3 because we're a hospital district.
Right.
You can request from the voters an additional 3, up to 6 mails. We get 3 because we're a hospital district.
Right.
You can request from the voters an additional 3, up to 6 mails. And so to get that additional 3 mails, you have to ask the commissioners to be put onto the ballot. And our time frame is right.
So it's good to know. Yes. So, and that would be on the November ballot.
If I could interject. Fine, but this has been the way it's been since the start, and it's every 3 years or 4 years.
4 years.
And I'm surprised it's not.
What?
Thank you for
I'm
cleaning up.
surprised it's not like on some kind of somebody's calendar, you know, we always do this and.
It probably is on
we-
somebody's
we-
calendar.
We have had this vote every 4 years. since we did it.
And I apologize, it wasn't on my calendar, so we'll make sure that it.
I think the commissioners could possibly give us the additional 3 mails, but they have to do that with official action. Where it wouldn't have to go back to the vote. But I don't know exactly. It's not been that way in Weston
My
County,
memory
so
and understanding was the law was that you could get 3 from the county, and that's all you could get.
Mhm.
There's an option for 3 more viable.
Yes. So when a mill's about, this year's gonna be about $194,500
For 1 mil.
for 1 mill.
Yeah, I would have said to you, our 6 mills gets us about $1 million, you know, around figures.
Yes.
Anybody have a different memory on that?
You're correct. It's the mill levy is down a little bit this year from last, but not terrible amount. So if we missed our time frame, then you don't end up on the ballot.
Right.
And then you've got to wait till the next.
Cause it is this weekend, or there'd be the second probably. Or
So do we
second or
have to have a
sixth.
meeting where we put that on the agenda and then vote on it?
The commissioner's got to have 90 days for election, I think.
I'm wondering if that means.
I'm trying to remember all this from memory.
I'm just wondering if that means we have to have a meeting just
So,
for that. And
So-
have it on the agenda so we can move on it, is that?
Allison, is that what, so looking at it, to me, 90 days is the first part of August.
So if you had to take emergency action, you could do that, but you'd have to approve it in a properly noticed meeting. So either way, you'd have to have a special meeting.
So could we have a special meeting with that being the only item and we could,
You certainly could.
and just do that before August 7th in whatever manner?
Yeah, so that they can get it, your official request is into them. You know, I'm not saying they're gonna deny it or anything like
Right,
that.
but
I
we
just-
have to have
I
it.
think that's what the law states you have to do.
I looked up the statute on special districts today, but I only printed out pages 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I wish I had known.
Well, I
that
am running
printed
on
the
memory,
rest.
and memory is something cloudy, but it's concerning that I'd hate to miss out on 3 mills because we didn't
Yeah.
ask for it. And then it's up to the voters, of course.
It was on my mind, but I didn't realize we had to go to the commissioners, so I apologize. I had gotten the brochures ready and things were, I knew we needed to get this done, but I didn't realize that, so.
I think they gotta authorize the clerk to put it on the budget or on the ballot. Excuse me, I said budget, but on the ballot. I think that's part of the reason when you have the ballot printed.
Thank you.
Okay, so special meeting it'll be.
And we just do that, maybe we could mostly do it by Zoom.
Yeah, anyway, okay, very good. Okay, so are we ready? Is there anything else before we move into executive session? We need to take care
You want to set a date for a special meeting?
of. Why don't we set a date when we come out of executive?
That is fine.
Does that
with me.
work?
That is
That,
fine.
that
with me.
gives us a little
Yeah.
bit more time to think about it and.
Yeah.
And
We don't.
is, we can't forget, so I'll write it down right here on my agenda.
I thought I won't let you guys forget.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Is that everything? So
I don't
move-
have anything
we're
else.
good.
I move
I-
that we go into executive session. Oh, yes, here we go. Or under 16-4-405A2 to consider the appointment and employment of a professional person or employee. 3 on matters concerning litigation or proposed litigation, and 9 to consider or receive any information classified as confidential by law, including legal advice.
Very good.
So.
We're gonna let you do that all.
I'll second that. I'll second it.
Okay, so we need to get everybody off the Zoom calls.
Well, yeah, motion. We got it.
Oh, we need to vote, I'm sorry. All those in favor of moving into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same?
Okay.
So I would entertain some motions.
Oh, I think it's Nick, right?
What?
The motions?
Motion, or do you want me to?
Let me go over it again.
So we want to start with the CFO, interim CFO.
Mhm.
Well, I make a motion to accept, correct me if I'm wrong, the terms discussed in executive session on hiring an interim CFO. Let me see.
Is there a second?
Right, second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, the same.
Who seconded?
I second it.
Okay, thanks.
You're doing secretary work over there, I can tell.
It's on there.
Motion carried. Who wants to do the next one?
Gary's gonna do it.
I make a motion that we approve the addition of a position of nursing home administrator with salary and benefits not to exceed 130,000, and to authorize the CEO to commence hiring for said position.
And it will be with benefits. That 130 includes the benefits.
Yeah, it said with salary and benefits.
Yeah.
Do you need me to repeat that?
Just the back part. CEO to do what?
CEO.
To approve the addition of nursing home administrator with salary and benefits not to exceed $130,000, and to authorize the CEO to commence hiring for said position.
Thanks.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion carried.
Do you want a motion to set a special meeting for next?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we schedule and advertise for a special meeting for Wednesday, the 31st at 6 o'clock.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same.
Was
Motion-
that Corinne who
Yep.
seconded?
yes.
Thanks.
Oh God, that's the 31st.
6.
Is that okay, Karen?
She has lots of work on the 31st.
Oh,
I just have to get my butt in case.
get it all.
It's a dream of mine.
Okay, so I
Okay.
think we can, is somebody willing to make a motion and we adjourn?
Gotta do
the mill
levy.
Oh,
No.
right.
No.
So we have a special meeting, which will
Oh,
include.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the special meeting that we just motioned for on the 31st, just so that the public is aware, we need to discuss the mill levy. We have a 3 mil additional levy that we need to get our request over to the county commissioners in a timely manner in order to have it on the ballot for the next.
November ballot.
Yeah, the November ballot. So that's why we need to schedule the meeting, and then whatever happens in between that, the CEO and the charity to add will be added.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Someone want to move to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I say aye?
Meeting adjourned.
It's 10 o'clock even.
Did we do anything special? Years ago, they used to put out.
That the CEO, he was building a case for Piper allergen removal. There was no doubt that was revealed in that meeting. Was working with personnel from H&H Leadership Solutions to do that. So this situation now, who knows what information gets uncovered with an active, aggressive targeted investigation with a purpose, you can generate information about people. You don't know if it's true. You don't know if it's valid, but if you have that information, you can't let people go back to work. I know nothing. The board's done a good job of not telling anybody anything, because this is a true sticky personnel situation where you have to be very careful for Piper's protection, because God knows what's been said about her or turned up about her. But once those things are said, you have to investigate them. And so the board's in a position where they have to follow through on that and bring closure to that.